Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Legacy FC light heavyweight Paul Buentello. Paul, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Paul, you got a fight coming up August 23rd at Legacy FC 22. How's training been going for the fight?
Been going really well. I have no complaints. Coming down from heavyweight to 205 wasn't that bad, but it's just getting the workouts in. I got Brad Barnes here at BJ at Bruno Bostos BJJ here in Midland, Texas, just really staying on top of things and just making sure we get the training in. And sometimes just the training is just a little bit. It feels like it's a lot, but then again, all of a sudden the next day is easier. Then the next day gets easier and easier, and we're still doing the same workouts, but just a little more intensity.
Mm-hmm. Paul, has training had to change now that you've gone from Marcus Sursa to James McSweeney?
No, not too much. Mm-hmm. McSweeney does come in. He's more of a striker, and he says he can take it anywhere. No, just add more cardio, a little more, because it's going to be a little more striking if McSweeney wants to keep it there. So, and Sursa was a little bit different. I know Sursa was way off. He's not clean on his striking or his takedowns, but and he doesn't have the experience to keep the pace. And McSweeney has a little bit more experience keeping the pace, and so that's the only thing is it didn't really change much of the training. Training just keeps on going further, just basically just moving forward a little faster.
Mm-hmm. Were you disappointed that Marcus Sursa had to pull out of this fight, or does it really not matter to you that much who you're fighting?
No, it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter. It was just one of those things where it's just, okay, it's over with, let's move forward. Mm-hmm. I've been in the business for way too long to even really let that stuff bother me. All it is, I just got to keep training hard and keep moving forward and just keep adding different stuff into the camp and just keep staying focused.
Mm-hmm. At this point in your career, 47 fights, 16 years in the game, how much can you improve in this game? How much more can you add on to the skills that you already have at this stage of your career?
Oh, you can add a ton more. Mm-hmm. You just have to be coachable. You have to listen to what people have to tell you and just focus on it. For me, it was adding, being more disciplined on my food intake, being more disciplined on getting inside the gi, start using the gi a little bit more. Doing more jiu-jitsu, and there's so much. The thing is, I have tons of experience, so that's a plus. So now let's try to clean it up and make it sharper. You can always learn something if you're able to be coachable, and your body ain't falling apart. I think there's always improvement if you just allow yourself to just keep your mouth shut and keep your ears open. I think anybody can keep that thing going.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the criticisms of you has been your game really hasn't evolved. People say, he's the same fighter that he was 3-5 years. They say you haven't evolved. Is that a fair criticism? And if you have taken this criticism to heart, what have you done to change that up so that doesn't become a criticism of yours?
That's so funny. I never even heard that criticism.
Really?
But if they can say that, then they haven't been watching my last 3 fights. Mm-hmm. They haven't seen my improvement in any direction. I defeated a national Russian Olympic wrestler twice. It's funny. You're the first person I've ever heard that say that I haven't evolved. Mm-hmm. If you look at other fighters that had 6 losses, 7 losses straight in the UFC, those guys haven't evolved. Mm-hmm. When you look at a lot of people that haven't evolved, but no, you're the first person to ever tell me that. So that kind of it doesn't make me mad. Which is, I guess, the first time I ever said that. Mm-hmm. The only thing I hear is that from people is like, do you think you still have it to mm-hmm. fight? That's the only thing I really have. But no, I've never heard that. Have I evolved? If anybody could even sit there and say that, they haven't watched my last 4 fights and from my last year of fighting to my last past year. So that's you can put that in your back pocket. I'll probably never hear that again.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that I'm the first person to mention it to you, because James McSweeney, who I talked to yesterday, said that about you. So that's where I got that from.
McSweeney, that was funny. Well, that's thrilled. But then you're the first person to tell me. So now there's 2 people out there. That's funny.
Well, Paul, where exactly are you training at in preparation for this fight, and who are some of the guys that are working with you to get you ready?
I I'm here in Midland, Texas. Mm-hmm. I've trained here for basically my last 2 fights. I did a half a camp here for my Russian fight, and a half a camp for my IFC fight, and everything came together for me pretty good. And then the thing is, I had to get closer, and then the thing is, I had a good camp here, so I've been here in Midland now for this whole camp. Then plus, I'm coming down from heavyweight to 205, so that's a big change. So I wanted to be really stable somewhere. I could have done that at AK, but it's, I'm a heavyweight at heart, so I have to really have a ringleader to, kind of progress me and show me which way to go. And plus here in Midland, I had a nutritionist, have some nutrition, plus also supplement companies stepped up, and, Midland's a little bit closer to them, and I'm feeling great, and just didn't want to change it up. I mean, I had real good success being here in Midland, and I just wanted to make this push, and plus it's here in Lubbock. And if you haven't been in Texas lately, it's steaming hot.
Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to not go with AK? Like, was it just because of the diet and all that stuff, or was there another reason why you decided to stay at home? And on top of that, how long have you been away from AK? When was the last time you trained there?
Last time I trained there was probably 2 months ago.
Oh, so not that.
And the reason why and the reason why is because my daughter's right down the street in Austin. My mom's sick with cancer. She's in Amarillo, so Midland is just a good fit right now to stay everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a place up in San Jose, or did you just stay with one of the guys when you were training up there?
No, I totally got a place in San Jose.
I see. Yeah. This is going to be your light heavyweight debut. Why did you decide to go down to 205?
Make a splash. There's always one thing I do here all the time is, me fighting is, Paul's lazy, he can't commit to if he's going to train hard or not, and just want to show the upper brass in the UFC and all these other big organizations, hey, I'm serious, I'm training good. If you want to know how hard I'm really training and how hard I'm focused now, dropping down to 205. So, I can show that I can go in any direction just by staying focused on, I've had a rough, 2 years ago I had a rough start in the UFC when I made my return back to UFC. So now that I got my life back together, not back together, but just got things organized and my ducks in a row, I'm focused and more determined now to make a bigger splash.
Just curious, why did you decide that right now was the time to go to 205? Because it seems like, maybe a couple years ago you could have made this move down there. Why now?
Well, I should have done it 9 years ago. I should have done it 9 years ago. I should have done it 10 years ago. But it's just, sometimes it's, when you're bullheaded and you just don't want to, you just want to just train and fight hard and not worry about the weight and not think you could do it. And if you don't have the right people around you to say, hey, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do, and the right people supplying you with the right stuff, how can you do it? So it's never been, it's just an option. Hey, my buddy Brad's like, hey, if you want to do this, quit fucking around, let's do this. And here we go, I'm doing it.
What's your weight right now?
Right now, right under 220.
Have you done a test weight cut to see if you can make 205?
No, we did a weight cut test 2 weeks ago, 2 times, and not a problem at all. So I'm at a good spot. We're happy where I'm at right now, so I shouldn't have any problems at all.
What does your diet consist of?
Chicken, spinach, protein shake, and a lot of beans and rice without any tortillas. Can't make a burritos anymore. It has to be you can't go to supersize anymore. It has to be all small portions and stuff like that. So I went from burritos to tacos. Bam, walk around under 220.
Really? That's interesting. And now,
and the thing is, all it is just portion. I'm Mexican. I got to eat my Mexican food. I just can't have my tortillas, and that's what. Bam! Just lost so much weight. I shouldn't have much of a cut when it comes. I'm 2 weeks out right now, so I shouldn't have much of a cut. I'd be surprised if I have more than an 8-pound cut by the time I get to fight week.
Now, you're fighting James McSweeney on August 23rd. He's a former training partner of yours. You guys have worked together in the past. Just curious, what are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
Well, his thoughts on me are I'm not improving, or I don't got anything for him. But I give him that respect. He's trying to hype it up and everything else. We did spar a little bit in Denver. Now he's in Las Vegas. I just got to put the pressure on him. Put the pressure on him. And he's going to throw his kicks. He's going to move around a lot. Apparently he can take it where he wants to take it. Mm-hmm. So just be ready for him. The thing is, I have tons of more experience, and man, I'm just so much lighter on my feet now. I think people would be surprised how quickly I am on my feet now after dropping so much weight now.
Mm-hmm. How long ago did this training with James McSweeney take place? Was it?
Czech Congo. So that was the last time I trained when I fought Czech Congo.
So 2010, early 2010, around that time period.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, around that time period.
Oh, I see. Now he's a striker. You're a striker. Is that where you see the fight taking place, on the feet?
I'm not expecting it to be on the feet. The thing is, I've had Carter Williams. I've had Andre Arlovsky. I had Overeem. They shot in, and those guys are those two, Carter Williams, even Big Daddy Goodrich try to shoot in. So those are all K1 fighters and kickboxers. So they shot in. So I'm not expecting McSweeney to keep it standing. I think he's going to play around with it and go for the takedowns and stuff. So I'm not expecting a total standout war. I think he's going to play around with it and play with what he's been learning and try to change it up. Every K1 fighter that I've had fought shot in for the takedown. Mm-hmm. So I'm not underestimating his takedown.
Mm-hmm. Do you still get nervous before fights? Because I remember hearing stories about how you would just be, a nervous wreck. You'd be throwing up all over the place. Do you still get like that? Or after, being in this game so long, you've kind of just, fallen into the groove of things and you don't get that nervous anymore?
No. I still do it. Even in Russia, even in the smaller IFC shows.
Really?
Puke my brains out. Nervous as ever. And I think once I lose that nervousness, I think I should not be fighting anymore. But me having that nervousness, it's a good feeling. Mm-hmm. It's a good feeling to be nervous.
Mm-hmm. Where did the nerves come from? Is it, you don't want to look like a fool out there? Is it you don't want to let people down?
It's basically I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is of not predicting the future and not, what's going to happen. That's one thing that gets me real nervous is, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the future, and that's what gets me nervous. And plus, you're put in a cage with somebody you have no hard feelings about. Mm-hmm. It's just a sport, but you have to get motivated to, be a controlled anger. But it's more me just not knowing what the future holds, what could possibly happen, what's going to do, how's it going to, it's just the possibility of not knowing what's going on, what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's the nervousness. That's the butterflies. That's just like going to the principal's office or something. You just don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to suspend you? Is he going to give you swats? You're going to send you. It's just one of those things where I can't predict the future, and it just makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that's kind of something that has drawn people to this sport, is that uncertainty. So in a way, is it something that you're nervous about, but at the same time, is that something that excites you at the same time? Is that, fear of the unknown, is that something that also makes the sport appeal to you in a way?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody says, training is the hard part and the fighting is the celebration, but shit, it doesn't feel that way when you're 3 fights out, 4 fights out, 2 fights out, and you're on deck. It's a whole different story. Mm-hmm.
When does it hit you? Does it hit you when you show up to the venue? Does it hit you when you're ready to walk out? When do you get this nervousness where you have to throw up?
Well, once they start wrapping my hands up, getting ready to start wrapping my hands up, that's when it always starts.
And is it a little, or is it like a little bit here and then time off and then a little bit more? Is it just all one shot?
Nah, it's here, there, everywhere, tons. It's everywhere. It's pretty much. There's nothing left in my stomach, so everything's gone, and it's usually about 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 times I puke up everything. And it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed one bit.
Well, moving on from throwing up to some more positive news. Anyway, so you're fighting for Legacy now. Is this a multiple fight deal with them?
Yes, multiple fight deal, and I'm pretty excited because they're going to keep me really busy. Mm-hmm. Totally excited. Coming back from Russia. Coming off with three good wins. they really wanted to jump, get me on the roster to start making some fights happen for them.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, why did it take so long for you to sign with Legacy? I mean, it kind of made sense for you to be there. You're a Texas guy. They're a Texas-based promotion. It just seemed like a really good fit. Why did it take a couple years to make this happen?
I don't know. Maybe they were thinking like they did, like Nick Sweeney thinks, that I wasn't learning or getting better. So I have no idea. That's totally their call. Mm-hmm. I really don't know. But then at the time, I didn't really have anybody. I don't really have management on me right now. I'm not anybody. And then a good friend of mine, Brad, the one I'm here with Midland with at Bruno Bostos MMA Jiu-Jitsu down here. He's the one that was in contact with them, and mm-hmm. they asked him, "Hey, how do you get in contact with Buentello?" And this conversation has been going back and forth for a while with Legacy, probably a good year almost. I guess it just wasn't the right fit. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, maybe Mick Sweeney can answer that for you. Heck.
I saw an interview that you did around this time last year, and in that interview, you were talking about how you were having trouble getting fights, whether it be just opponents backing out or companies not having the money to pay for you to fight for them. But since then, you fought 3 times. So what's changed? Is it just that maybe you've lowered the purse that you're demanding? Is it just that opponents are not backing out? What's changed for you? Because you fought 3 times and you're coming on your 4th coming up on August 23rd. What's changed?
Meeting good people in Russia. that's what changed is staying busy, getting the fights, and just meeting. I think that's what thing it is. I just fell into the right group of guys in Russia, and they brought me out there. I fought, get a good deal, and then just to hype off of that, mm-hmm. and basically just training and getting ready for these different fights. And mm-hmm. the thing is, nobody's going to remember you if you're sitting there waiting for that phone call. But if you take a fight, whoever calls, "Hey, do you want to go to Russia? Let's go." And that's how I started fighting way back in the way in 96, 97. Is I just waited and the phone rang. I took the fight and took off. Here we go. We're fighting in 2 weeks. And that's how it is. Once you start fighting and winning, that's the most expensive part. Like I've told all these promoters, it's not that I'm putting myself out there to be too expensive. The whole thing is the money is not the value right now for me. Where the value at is getting that W. As long as I keep racking up W's, then I get the upper brass. Right now I'm in AA baseball right now or AAA mm-hmm. baseball, and I'm just trying to move up. I'm just trying to make a big splash to it. And what motivates me the most is that people tell me, "Oh, you're in the UFC twice, blah, 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 you're 39 years old, I don't think you can make it. Do you still have it?" Well, I'm going to prove them all wrong. I still have it. I'm going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Also in that interview, you talked about not getting paid. There were some fights that you had but never received payment for.
Yeah, was that? It's a lot of dang money I lost mm-hmm. that year, those years too. That's all coming to the head, mm-hmm. and just that's another thing. I mean, I had a lot of fight offers on the table, but these companies just seem too shady to even do. But oh man, I mean, don't remind me that was the worst ever. Mm-hmm. Not getting paid in those shows.
Mm-hmm. I know you said you didn't want to relive some of these moments of not getting paid, but I'm just curious about 2 of them. First one, Nemesis fighting. I heard some things about them. They obviously didn't pay you. Just curious, what was it like fighting for Nemesis, and what was the reason for not getting paid?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the accommodations were great. The mm-hmm. people were great. Mm-hmm. The investor that was there talking to us all was great. But when you show up and the investor's not there, it just went downhill. I mean, mm-hmm. Everything was great, but it was just like a big curtain, big old a big smoke screen, and then it all just fell apart. And just one of those things, hand you a piece of paper that's not worth it's written on.
Mm-hmm. The second organization is Powerhouse World Promotions, War on the Mainland. That was the organization that you fought Tim Sylvia in. What happened with them? Because they had some big plans. They were going to pit Tim Sylvia against Pedro Hizo for their second show, and then everything just fell through. What was it like fighting for them, and what was their reason for not paying you?
Same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, they put a big old smoke screen and had these one guy. It was funny. One of the investors, me and him, we hit it off pretty good, and then the night before the fight, he's like, "I'm not." I said, "If you come to the fight, no, I got other things to do." I said, "Oh, isn't this your money?"
Mm-hmm.
going on this show, and no answer. And that was the last of it. And I was like, oh, here we go again. It's just one of those things, some of those promotions can put a big smoke screen up, and then it's always, when it comes down to the wire, they're pointing fingers at this person, pointing fingers at that person.
Paul, I've always been curious about this one, and since we're taking a walk down memory lane, I guess this is appropriate time to bring it up. I always wondered why Affliction didn't put you in against Fedor when Josh Barnett had his little thing where he couldn't fight and the show ended up getting canceled. They were looking for an opponent for Fedor. You were on that card. I think you were going to fight Gilbert Eivel. You were 2-0 under the Affliction banner. You had just beat Baby Fedor, the fight you had before that one. Just curious, why did you not get that fight?
I have no idea. I asked Tom. Oh, you know what it was? I think it was the upper, because they went corporate. Friction went corporate. Tom Essential wanted to fight, but corporate didn't want to fight. They didn't think they would be a good fit for their pay-per-view.
Weird. You get
Essential like put him in. And Tom was like, do you want more money? And I was like, no, I'll just go in there. Let's do this. Let's get the fight done. And it was corporate that said it wouldn't be a good fit. The guys at pay-per-view.
Weird. You can headline a UFC, but you can't headline an Affliction.
One of those things.
Yeah, weird. You're 39 years old right now. How long do you want to continue to fight? Do you have a set date in mind? You want to go a couple more years, 3-4 more years, or have you not really put a date on when you want to stop fighting?
No date. No date at all. I mean, it's just the wheels fall off. The whole thing is just keep having fun and having a blast and just put a splash, just having fun. That's if I still love it and still having fun, I'm going to do it as long as the wheels fall off. Thank the Lord that my knees, my back, and my eyes and my head is still good, and my hands are great. Then till the wheels fall off. That's the whole motto: is the wheels fall off, or till I hit a brick road, or some organization don't pay me, and I lose way too much money, and I can't afford to move forward. It's just one of those things. Is I'm still having fun, and I'm still getting paid for having fun. I want to keep doing it. There's people out there criticizing I haven't improved. Well, or I don't got a chance. Well, we'll see. That's one thing I was told that. I was told that before I made my first UFC debut in UFC 51 that I wasn't supposed to be there.
I'm sure throughout the years you have some bumps and bruises on your body. Every fighter has them, just the nature of the sport and how the training is done. But anything serious, any real serious injuries, or is your body in really good shape considering, 16 years in the game and 47 fights? How's the body?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, body's I'm really surprised. No bad back, no knee surgeries, no elbow surgeries, no shoulder surgeries, neck surgeries, no big, knock on wood right now. No, sure. I'm totally good. The only thing is different. It just takes, extra couple hours of sleep with recovery. It ain't like I can just bounce up the next morning and take off. I have to slowly wake up and stretch and move around, do a little bit of yoga, and let's go.
Was this move down to 205 just to get more committed, get in better shape, or was this a move that you feel like is going to prolong your career? Was it one of those, or was it just trying to get a new spark, try to get something going at a different weight class? Was it more just trying to get things going again, or was it just trying to prolong your career?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything. Has Paul Buentello ever fought at 205? No. Never. Why does it take him so long now? Because he needs to, motivate. Show him I am motivated. If I stuck around at 255 and 240, 245, everybody's seen me there. So, at my last run or my first run or whatever I want to do with this move, when you hear that Paul Buentello's fighting at 205, you want to tune in. No matter who you are, if you're my hater or you're my best fan, if you hear me coming down to 205, you're going to turn that channel and listen and watch. So I think it's a little bit of everything, and it's motivated me, and it surprised me that, wow, if I would have done this 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years ago, it would have been easy, because it's easy now. And just one of those things, and I think it's a little bit of everything, what you just said: motivation, commitment, put a spark, open people's eyes. The main people I need to open is the people at UFC, that I'm still training hard.
Your goal is to obviously make it back to the UFC. Why do you feel that ship hasn't sailed? Why do you feel that there is still a possibility for you to make another run in the UFC? Is it just you feel you just keep getting wins? Is there some dialogue in there with Joe Silva? Why do you feel that there is still a possibility of you making a UFC return?
There's always dialogue. There's always dialogue floating around. Mm-hmm. But the main thing is, like I said earlier, is the value of all fighting is W's, getting the finishes. Don't go to the decision. Get the finishes. Come in and fighting hard like this, and that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Paul, on August 23rd, how do you defeat James McSweeney?
Pressure, and make him land everything. Get my hands raised.
Mm-hmm. Paul, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Fans, just if I can do it, anybody can do it. Losing weight, staying in shape at the age of 39, definitely. There's a lot of things, everybody says that if you're not a professional or you're not an athlete, everybody's an athlete if you just put your mind to it. Oilfieldsoldier.com, they've been backing me for the last 2 fights. Great guys, great company. It's an oil field company. These guys actually own a drilling rig, all 56 workers, drilling that oil, keeping America moving. And that's probably the main one that really takes care of me. And knocks fight always sent stuff. Also, Grip Athletics, which is owned by Thomas Cincio from Austin. Mm-hmm. And they gave me my first 2 gis. Been doing jiu-jitsu in those things. Those things are ultra light. They clean up really good, and they dry up really good. Thanks for Thomas Cincio at gripsathletics.com. Those guys are off the chain. Mm-hmm. Good gis, and Tom's always been a good friend. And as soon as I told him I wanted to start grappling more, he asked for the address and sent the gis. So really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Paul, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck August 23rd at Legacy FC 22 against James McSweeney.
No problem. If you have any more questions, if I can't answer them, I think McSweeney can answer them for me. He has a good idea how to say it. So ask him if you can't get a hold of me.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Paul.
All right, boss. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Take it easy.
Bye bye.